we filming right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so we're rolling. So again, this podcast, we're going to do long form today. The things that we're going to talk about, just so you guys know, is kind of what's our why we do what we do, why we love it. We're going to talk about why being a builder is not for the faint of heart, and we're going to talk about why we're so adamant about using our vendors, as well as where most people blow the budget. That's a big one, obviously. And then how to get the most out of your builder, when to communicate, how to communicate. So let's start with what is our why, Matt? What is your why and the reason that you do what you do, knowing the amount of headaches there is with it, right? Like, what is the why for you? And obviously I know it, but.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the why is always like a couple things are really important to me. Providing for my family, of course, and then controlling my time. So I would say those are the most valuable things that you can offer me. Aside from that, when you're building a home, it's cool to be able to like take your kids by and see the house, right? Yeah. It's gonna be there forever. As far as like a tangible legacy, I mean, of course, people are gonna remember how you treated them and stuff like that. Yeah. But to actually like when you're gone, one day your kids' kids can drive by and be like, "That's a house that my dad built." Yeah. That's always going to be
neighborhood
or an entire neighborhood. Yeah. It's just something physical that you can kind of leave behind. I've never had anything like that, like from my family, so it's just a lot of like memories and stuff like that, but I can't go anywhere and like really physically see something that my dad did, and have that moment or that memory or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that like that's, to me, at least probably the most important part of it.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, obviously my kids are my why. I mean, there's nothing that I do in life that doesn't revolve around my kids, right? Like I want my kids to be part of this business. I want to be able to leave them something when I'm gone. There's a big legacy factor for me. I mean, without my kids, there's no telling where I'd be or what I'd be doing. Honestly, it's like a lot of days they're what keeps me going, but. Also, I'm like a really passionate person, right? I love art. I love to create. I love the design. So it does fulfill a need for me, aside from just the kids, right? It's like I always said I would never do something that I don't enjoy. If I'm punching a clock and if I don't enjoy my job, I'm not going to be the person that comes home and bitches to my wife or girlfriend or whatever how terrible my day was, how bad my boss was, and I had to stay late. I love being able to control my own time, and I love doing something that I genuinely love. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I think everybody should focus all of their energy in their 20s and 30s into really finding something that they genuinely do love to do as a career, because having a career that's not fulfilling, that's just punching a clock and just collecting a check, is absolutely fucking miserable.
Yeah, I think there is a fine line with that, because when I was younger, I was probably stuck on this idea that I want to do something that I'm passionate about, or you'll hear the saying, do something you're passionate about, you're never going to feel like you work a day in your life. Yep. I don't want to sell people on that dream, because you have to remember, let's just take home building, for example, and I'll use you for an example. Like, you have that artistic ability. You're passionate about bringing people's dreams to life, but you have to remember there's going to be aspects of the business that you're not going to like, and it's going to feel like work, right?
Contracts.
Like, I was just going to say,
hate them.
You love building houses, you hate contracts. I mean, who likes contracts? We hate accounting. Yeah. We hate the really.
I hate running a business.
Yeah, so it's no matter. My point being is, like, I don't want young people to think that even if they pursue something that they're passionate about, it's not going to feel like work. It's always going to have that aspect of feeling like work, right? So just have that balance of like, well, I am doing something that I love, but like, let's face it, when you wake up Monday morning and you have to be somewhere, whether it's a meeting for yourself or a meeting with your employer, it's still going to feel like work, because you don't want to wake up Monday morning, and have to be somewhere. So entrepreneurship is great. I love controlling my time, but I still answer to people. I own the business. I still answer to clients. I still answer to our employees that need me somewhere at some time. So it still feels like work.
Yeah. That's actually a great segue into one of the next topics, which is kind of like how to communicate with your builder, right? Mm-hmm. So, there's a way to get things done when you want them done and get, on their radar kind of thing. And, for a lot of builders, especially with young kids, right? We get off work, and unless your house is burning down, like, you can text me stuff, which is fine, and I'll respond if it's necessary. But if it's not necessary, I'll try to leave that text unread so I read it in the morning, because the main time you want to connect with a builder is first thing in the morning, right? Like, if you want to be a great client, when you're thinking about texting somebody at 8 o'clock at night, schedule that text, because it is a thing you can do now.
Yes.
For 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Because that's when I'm bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, in focus mode, and I can catch whatever vendor I need to pertaining to your item, and get and hit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when we're making schedules. We're getting down to it. We're jumping in. We're diving in. We're rolling up our sleeves, and that's when our focus is there, right?
Yes.
Hitting me on a Saturday night or a Friday night, and then expecting me to remember Monday morning. It just sometimes it doesn't work. And it's again, I don't mind it. It's part of the business, but like, if you really want to be front and center with your items, there's a way to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can attest to this. I am a do not disturb, phone on silent dude.
Yeah.
So
Drives me
when
nuts.
I mean, when the day is done, I'm swiping from the top right corner, do not disturb, and I still check my messages, but I'm checking my messages on my time.
Yeah.
Because what I hate, we're both single dads, right? So a lot of responsibility. I always feel so guilty when you get that text message or you get that call, and now you're on your kid's time, right? And you don't even realize it, but because it's got you flustered, or maybe not even flustered, it's just got you so involved in something. Next thing you know, you're being short with your kids.
Yeah.
And your kids are like, dude, you just got home.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they're not old enough to say
It's
it,
our
but they're
time.
like, yeah, it's our time. So I think that the public, and I didn't know until I started in this industry, needs to understand kind of how the day works. Again, high energy, high focus, start of the day. Everybody's getting their marching orders. We're all like hitting it hard, and as the day kind of goes on, especially later on in the afternoon, past 5 o'clock, like, sure, you can tell me something, but my vendors are checked out, especially the
100%.
ones that don't own the business.
Yeah.
And even furthermore, you kind of notice in this industry as the week progresses on, Friday afternoons, everybody's in construction.
I'm trying to wrap up.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody's in construction. Like, it's you can send all the messages you want, but it's not an ideal time to hold somebody's attention.
Yeah, and it's a give and take, right? Because you got to think about it from the perspective of the homeowner. They're working all day, 9 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
And so when they get home, that's when they're diving
It's their
into
time.
reviewing the plans and reviewing the things, and that's fine, right? But I would just say get more in a habit of writing down your notes or writing down your thoughts or whatever, and then getting it scheduled for the morning. That way, again, it hits me right. Because I'm telling you, if you text me at night, I may look at it and I may remember it, which 9 out of 10 times I'm going to, right? But you're putting in a little bit of liability there, because there's room for error that I might forget or I might have to be reminded, versus you schedule that text for the morning or you schedule that email for the morning when I'm getting after it. It's going to be one of the first things on my email list, and I'm going to be diving into it and getting it done without question, right? And again, it's just about respecting time, right? Like the biggest thing for me is, the sky is always falling, right? There's a cabinet off, there's something that looks weird because it's not finished, and it gets people flustered. And I'm again, a very passionate person, right? I'm attached emotionally to what I do. So when I get flustered and I'm with my kids, I feel like it's just not fair to them, right? Like I want to stay in a good dad, loving, patient mindset.
Because your kids can pick up on the energy.
Exactly. So, it's one of those things. And I'm sure every builder is not the same, but, we haven't had too much trouble with this.
No. And I want to make sure that, like, people or clients, because our clients do watch this, I want them to understand, like, it's not an issue, right?
No.
I just want them to know that
there's a more efficient way to do it.
Well, and then please don't get offended by my lack of response. Like, if you do send me something on Saturday, the features I utilize the most, besides do not disturb, are the send it later text, because I'm doing that for my vendors. So sometimes from a client, they'll send something at 8 p.m. at night. I'll do a send later to my vendor for 9 a.m. the next morning or 8 a.m. the next morning, but I'll also leave the text unread. Now, of course, you can swipe right or swipe left, but I don't respond to it because it's like, I want to make sure I'm in work mode when I respond to this, and not like half-ass. I got my kids, I'm trying to cook them meals. My 5-year-old wants spaghetti. My 7-year-old wants hot dogs. I'm trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? It's just so. But I am respectful of you. You hit a great point, right? Like, people have lives, and their time to start reviewing things, or their time to go,
it's
maybe
different
walk
than
off.
ours.
Exactly. So we understand that, but it's just don't take offense if you
I
don't get
never
an immediate response.
I never mind it, honestly. I get those texts and I'm like, I never mind it, but it's like, it's one of those things I'm like, if I would have read that in the morning, I would do this right now. You know what I mean? But right now I'm going to disregard, put it on the back burner, and come back to it. Versus if I get that bright and early in the morning, it's one of the first things I'm going to do. I'm going to catch that vendor early. You know what I mean? It's just a more efficient way of doing it.
And most of our clients are entrepreneurs, so they understand that.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, society has kind of gotten all of us into this idea that everybody owes us an immediate response. Because customer service is such a big thing nowadays. Convenience is such a big thing nowadays. We're all so reachable, messenger, text message, email. It's like, well, what do you mean? I sent you an email 5 minutes ago, or I sent you a text 5 minutes ago. You didn't respond. And it's like, whoa, like hang on a second.
Yeah.
Because I got 20 of them. Yeah. And it's just, I want to make sure what I'm doing at that moment has 100% of my attention. Yeah. And I'm not, diving into an intricate detail of a home while I'm also trying to answer your question, because that's how mistakes get made. I'm a very methodical person, right? I have different things. I have a note in my phone. I have a note in Builder Trend. I'm marking up plans. These things take me a minute. Yeah. If I don't do that, then I have nothing to go back on. So it's like I am a person where I'm very much into what I'm doing at that time. And I will make sure I get to all these things, but everything deserves my undivided attention.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't answer my phone a lot. I answer my phone very, very rarely, because it's like, horrible. Unless it's you, unless it's my kids, unless, you know what I mean? It's like I'm so ADD with a million things going on, with projects, with podcasts, with homes being built, with developments being developed, and all these million bazillion things that, like, it's hard for me to remember everything that we just talked about. So it's like, for me, I almost want to force people into putting it in writing. And I know there's a lot of old school guys who hate that. They're like, no, I want to call you. It's all about the relationship. Like, we can be buddies and drink beers on Saturday. But if you're trying to tell me something that you want me to remember, I need it in a text, dude, because I need something to go back and look at and check on, because my mind is just moving a million miles an hour.
Yeah, 100%. I can't tell you that I love phone calls. It's great to hear from you. It is the worst form of communication when you're trying to document things. I mean, I just had a call, and I do this all the time. I'll have the same, but I just had a call this morning with our electrician about some UFA grounds, and I'm like, I ended the call, and I literally was like, hey man, everything we just said, put it in a text message to me. There's no accountability with the phone call and conversations. All of a sudden, it's like, well, we had that call, and I told you this. Well, that call was 6 months ago. I know, whereas if you send a text message, I can go in and search, and I bring up, the property address or whatever the subject we were talking about, and it's it's right there.
Exactly.
And it's better for you. Then you really can look at me and say, well, hey, dummy, I told you. Yeah. So like the phone calls, and they're just massively distracting. There's never a moment during our workday where, like, we're just twiddling our fingers. It's constant multitasking. So to stop and have a 10-minute phone call about something that's a 5-second text.
That's what I'm saying.
But I will say on the flip side of that, there are some items where it's like, okay, let's hop on the call real quick to get out all the details, but the summary still needs to be there in text.
I mean, that's what you see me on site. When there's something wrong on site, something that needs to be done, something that somebody forgot, I'm not trying to even text it to you. I make a video. Hey, this needs to go here. You need to look at this and make sure you factor in this and bring enough lumber for this, da-da-da-da. And I send that video, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about it because I was crystal clear in my video. And sometimes that's the best way I can communicate, because it's like, rather than text the framer, hey, I need to make sure you get this, this, and this, and then I text him 3 more things, and he texts back and then wants to confirm, then calls me on site with, I mean, it's like, bro.
It's horrible.
Yeah, exactly. I am always trying to get to the fastest route to the resolution, to the solution, whatever you want to call it. Like, what do I need to do to get the point across as fast as possible, have it documented, and move on to the next thing?
You know what else is great too is, like, even on the follow-up, right? So I sent the framer something on Friday, and it had marked up plans and instructions. Came in Monday, saw that it wasn't done. Instead of needing to call him and be like, well, did you do that? Well, what did I need to do? This, that, and the other. It's like, you just long press down the thing, put reply, and say, did this ever get handled? And it's like, then he can scroll back and see exactly what it was that needed to get handled. Like, it's so much more of an efficient game. And I think in custom home building, efficiency is everything, because you really have to be such a good multitasker. Which I know I said earlier that I'm trying to handle one thing at a time, but that doesn't mean we're not multitasking at all times. And I think your good builders and your people that are successful find those ways to be efficient, so that way they're maximizing, the amount of time. We talked about, our responsibilities outside of the work. It's like, I feel like I can get as much done in 6 hours as someone could get done in 12 hours.
100%.
And that's just because of systems and processes.
Yep. Okay, so one of the other topics that we want to talk about is why we're so adamant about using our vendors.
Oh yeah.
So obviously this is a constant thing, right?
Sore subject.
Yeah, people try to push new vendors on you, and they try to put, I got this flooring person, they got this flooring in stock. And look, I'm not opposed to using new vendors, right? But something a lot of these people need to understand from a client perspective is, when I need something done from a vendor that I give consistent work to and I crack that whip, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
If I need them bend over backwards, if I need to finish faster, if I need you to stay later, I have that ability to ask that vendor to do those things, right? And they're going to absolutely oblige, right?
Right.
You don't really have that when you have a vendor that you're not comfortable with, don't know, and don't have that carrot to hang over their head like, hey, here's some more work,
Yeah.
right? Because they're a new vendor, they don't know you at all. Especially if the client hires them, it's like it's a terrible, terrible mistake because things go south and then they're like, okay, well, I've been paid, so see you later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have some of your larger trades that are getting paid $1 million a year from us, don't you think whoever is on the other end of our text message is like, hey, these guys give us $1 million in business in a year, we probably should take care of this.
Exactly.
So there's a ton to be said about that. And every single time we've given any leeway on the subject, we've been burned.
Every single time.
You and I are staring at each other like, this is why we don't use anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even think what the latest one was. I mean, there's just been so many instances where they wanted to use their roofer or they wanted to use their flooring person, and it's like a month delay on the job, right? It's like there's just so many things that, again, we're trying to protect you. We're trying to be efficient. We're trying to keep this job rolling. And when you hire Joe Blow, who's cheaper because he's got good Google reviews, that doesn't mean shit, right?
Yeah, and you get into trades that can have drastic differences in timelines. I mean, you look at something like, I think a tile, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could have a job that a tile crew could get done in a week, and you could have that same exact job with a different tile crew that it could take them a month. Mm-hmm. And again, just getting back to the subject of efficiency.
They saved $800 because it's a 2-man crew versus a 6-man crew.
And don't for a second think that the quicker time frame means lower quality of job. I mean, they just bring more guys, and those guys have been doing it for a longer time, and they know the expectations, and
there's a reason we use them, right?
They work with our designer. I mean, sometimes there are issues on the site where I'm not even made aware of them because the tile crew works with our designer, called our designer, got an immediate answer from our designer, and work just kept going on. Instead of if it's your vendor, all of a sudden this vendor's calling you, the client's calling me, I'm calling my designer, the designer's like, I have no idea, I don't normally do it like this, and it's a whole thing. I have specific examples, I just don't want to use them because I feel like people will watch this and be like, oh, God, but again, every time we've veered from that,
it costs.
It burns us.
It costs money.
And you try to make people happy, right? Like that's the name of the game here. You want to keep not only your vendors happy, but most importantly, the client. So we're not the long time builders where we're just like, this is the way that it's done, digging our heels in if you don't like it. Like, no, I'm a reasonable person. You're a reasonable person. But man, I tell you what, when it comes to the vendors, like,
I mean, you think about it, if you have something that delays your job a month and you're getting financing on your project, you're paying your interest that month, right? $4,500, $6,000, whatever it is. So it's like you tried to save $800 by using this other vendor, or $1,000, $2,000 by using this other vendor, and then they're not showing up. There's delays. They did this wrong. They installed this wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like it messes up the flow of things, and the flow of things is why we don't take longer than 12 months to build any house. I mean, we are very efficient. We are very tech savvy. We are very on the ball with all of this. And you throw us for a loop when you got a new vendor who doesn't have any kind of, what is it towards us, right? Like no loyalty towards us, right?
No reason.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, we don't have the same pull. And you might be thinking you're saving money because of the invoice, but that month delay or even 2-week delay cost us, cost you a substantial amount of money in interest.
And you have to remember, the clients aren't in the construction industry, right? So some of the things that we just overlook because it's a detail, it's like, duh, well, the client isn't in the industry. I think recently I was exploring some different options on a certain trade, and I had a great conversation with someone that came highly referred to me from another builder. And everything was looking real good. And kind of at the last minute, I'm like, oh, by the way, for a project this size, like how long do you think it'll take you to complete? And he's like, well, I run a this many man crew. He's like, you're probably looking at like 2 months. And I'm like, the record was scratching, I'm like, whoa, dude, 2 months. I'm like, my guys this is like a 3-week project for my guys, at like maximum.
Yeah.
And, that I can't have that. I'm sure you do good work and, I'm sure the pricing is fair, but because you run a smaller crew and you take a longer time, I don't know how I'm going to explain to my client why your process is taking 2 months and I can't get in anyone else in the meantime.
Time is money, man. You got somebody in there that's doing paint or sheetrock or something where nobody else can get in and do their job. Those guys got to be efficient, dude. We got to stay on the clock, right? Next topic I want to talk about is going over budget, right? There's a lot of ways that people go over budget. Some of the primary ways that people go over budget, because we're a cost plus builder, right? And we can be fixed cost, obviously, but we prefer cost plus because we don't make a lot of mistakes that are on us, and we prefer to give you allowances. You know, I've give you a $50,000 allowance for your appliances. If you want to spend 70, go ahead. But some of the major areas that I see people going over budget a lot of times are cabinets, because there's just so many bells and whistles, right? There's Lazy Susans, there's roll out this, there's knife blocks, there's, you know, toilet paper holders, or, you know what I mean, napkin holder. There's just so many bells and whistles with cabinets, and people get in there, and we tend to, you know, we give you a healthy budget, and there's a formula for that. And then you get into design, and you want to throw everything in the cart, which is kind of how we want to do it, right? Throw everything in the cart, and we'll dial it back. Well, sometimes people throw everything in the cart, and they come back with, you know, ribbed this and slow close that, and see all these fancy things, and like, wow, we're $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over budget. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I mean, you can add quick to that. So, and then obviously countertops, right? Countertops, they'll fall in love with a slab. That's natural stone, and, you know, it's one of a kind, and it's just the kitchen, and it's $20,000 slab. Or, you know, they want to do book match on the fireplace, and it's like, great, but like those are a lot of the areas, in my opinion. Those are the two that stand out the most. Where people go over budget.
Pool's another one where you can go bonkers on.
Oh gosh.
I mean, if you want Six Flags in your backyard,
no
Claffey will build you Six Flags in your backyard.
Right?
You know, so that's another thing where it's like, dude, you know, this is the budget that you have, and there's a lot of different ways to get it done. But you know, you start adding all those water features, you know. Slides, just the whole process. There's even I don't have the figure, but there's even a certain perimeter of the pool that once you begin to exceed that perimeter, your cost like skyrockets, because now they're bringing in 2 plaster crews, and just it changes everything. So if you stay below that threshold, there's like a good amount of cost savings. But yeah, you know, that's one of those items. We're bringing up all allowance things. I would say our hard costs and the things that we bid out, because we do get hard bids on everything, we do pretty good about keeping in budget. But I think it's important that people know, you know, these are custom homes, so it's not a situation where, you know, it's a tract home where it's been built 1,000 times.
We've never built this home before.
You can spend all the money you want to spend on plans. Personally, I think the more pages that are in plans, the more convoluted things get. But regardless, you can do everything you want to do with plans. We can send it out to everyone. Everyone can do thorough bids. We get our engineering. We send it back to the vendors for revised bids after the engineering. But the house has still never been built before. You know, things that are on paper are not gonna work when it comes on site. You're gonna walk in and see something and be like, oh, like that doesn't work. So we do the contingency. The contingency is a fund that's available for the client for overages on their end, allowances, but it's also there for us on the builder, because we're like, hey, there's going to be some give and take.
Little here, things, you know, it's like just the other day we were walking and doing our HVAC walk, and he's like, I want to deck this area for storage. Great. You know, it's extra plywood. There's going to be a cost associated with it. We're going to have to add a door upstairs from that room to get in there. There's just costs associated. Well, like, that wasn't included. No, that's not included. Right? We bid it how we bid it based off plans, right? So there's always things that kind of move and shake on a custom house, and the contingency is a lifesaver, because the last thing I want to do is be sending you a change order bill, because we went over your exact budget. So having that contingency, you know, you got $1,800 in wood that we needed to deck that area. Great. Pull it from contingency, no big deal. He signs off on it. We're good to go.
I think the nice thing about, like, we're a leaner company, right? So you and I are on the job sites. We're very involved at all levels. I mean, it's not beneath me to grab a push broom or to pick up some beer cans or pop cans that I find on site, and then also text the framers and be like, why is there beer cans on my site? But one of the things with that is, with us being there and knowing all the details, that contingency, I will try to protect it.
Oh, absolutely.
So if, you know, let's say the house is done with framing, and, you know, we're all invoiced out on framing, their retainer's been paid, and I know there's $3,000 left in that framing budget. Before I go and pull from your contingency, I'm going to look at your draw sheet and say, well, you saved $3,000 on framing, so I know you want this steam shower. let's pay for that out of the framing budget you saved and contingency. So in my order of operations is, if you have an overage, I'm going to first look at a line item that's been completed to see if there's budget left. If there's nothing there, I'm going to go down to contingency. And then at the very last, if there's nothing left in contingency, then we'll start rolling out the change orders. But I have built a house 100% in budget with not a single change order outside of their draw sheet.
Yeah, and nothing makes a client happier than that.
It can be done.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's about it, man. We've got a lot of good topics here today, so we're going to wrap this up today. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, YouTube, all the different platforms that we're on, all that fancy stuff, right? Be all tech savvy. So we'll catch you in another couple days. We'll have some more content for you guys. If you got some items that you want us to discuss, questions, good ideas, whatever, shoot us a DM on Instagram, and we'll see you next time.